Good morning. How are you doing today, MYM Insiders? This is Rich Harshaw, and I'm here with you today for the Tuesday morning ad clinic. And we have an ad on the screen. We're going to go ahead and jump in right there. This is from Ann Leong, who's our recent frequent submittor, and I see that you are on the line. However, I see that you have not used your audio pin that will allow me to unmute you. So to accomplish that, you will need to enter the audio pin, which is, well, it's a long audio pin. I just sent it to you. So go ahead and do that. There you go. Hey, Ann, are you there?
Yeah, how are you?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. Well, you're with me again. You know,
remember last time we talked about that? I said we're going to submit, my first version of the ad to you.
Yes.
This is the first. This is the very first version of my mailing. Mm-hmm.
Okay, this looks like it's probably trifold, folded 3 times.
Right.
Okay, and do I have the front and the back? Let me scroll down. Okay, so.
Oh no, that's not the back. That's another after a couple years. This is my second version, but the first page is the first version, and then the second page is I make modification later on.
So when this is folded up, what do people see? Just white?
Just the mailing address and the local mailing address, and then on the back, probably my company name again and stuff like that.
Okay, and then they open it up. This is what they see. Does this just come on plain white paper?
Yeah. At that time, it's only one color. We're talking about maybe 17 years ago.
Oh, 17 years ago.
When I first started business, yeah.
Okay, and have you run this one lately?
Oh, no. Actually, after so many years, we've been changed to different versions, and the last version I submitted to you, and I guess you totally disagree the the format that we have, but this one I created myself. The other one, it was actually created by marketing professionals and stuff.
Yeah.
But I feel like the one that even though at that time I didn't take any class and I just thought of this kind of stuff and made up myself, and at that time I think I got a lot more response at that time.
Off of this ad? Yeah.
But then I don't know if it's just that, because, right now people change the, their attention from mailing or, paper advertising to internet now. I'm not sure if that's the shift or I'm not sure, but it's just the response is not as good, as it was before.
Well, there's definitely an issue with people responding less simply because they're going to the internet more. Mm-hmm. That's a major part of what the challenge is with advertising, no matter what kind of advertising it is, mailing, TV, magazines, anything. So, what is your question specifically on this piece? Is it just generically, what do I think of it?
Oh yeah, because last time, remember when you look at my the latest version of the mailing, and you say you'd be interested in looking in my first word, my first version. Okay. That's why I'm submitting. Actually, that's why I'm constantly taking, marketing classes, because I would until I sign up, I really don't understand, the differences, how you're supposed to make up this ad, I probably would, have just my thought and then I put it together, other than, some of the pieces that actually created by, people that in the marketing field. So I'm not sure until now that I probably understand, how to do it. But before I was just not sure, which way is the right way, because when I kind of feel like, myself, like when I send out this mailing that I do feel like, I have good response. But then a lot of people, when I go to, print this material, or a lot of the marketing or advertising professional in this field would say, too much wording and too plain and no picture, or, and then they didn't like it, so.
Well, I would be pretty surprised if this mailer like this worked now. I mean, there's a lot of things have changed in 17 years.
Right.
You know, the biggest challenge right now is really, if you look at advertising as a direct response mechanism, it's just tough no matter what you do or what you say or how you say it, because the fact is you've got a large percentage of people that when they have the idea that they want to you know, look at changing their windows out, they do have the internet just so readily available like it didn't used to be. And also, a lot of times, even if they do get this mailer, they're going to want to go online and see, you know, what you look like and what you're all about and get more information. So, you know, it's a tough thing. But if you are going to do mailers, you know, my recommendation is to have mailers that focus more on the identity of the company so that people can quickly and definitely tell how you're different, how you're better, why they should buy from you. And I'm not saying that this ad is completely devoid of that information, but it's just really, really hard to pick out any information. I mean, people have to really focus in and say, okay, what is this saying? How can I increase the value of my house, reduce my energy bills at the same time? Answer, you can save money, you know, basically with windows. How can Crystal Windows help you? I would just be really surprised if this worked at this particular point.
Okay. Okay. I see.
So as you go through the identity process, which I know you've already done that, I'd be interested to see what comes of that. In fact, I think I've got some of that information here. Let me see real quick. Let's see. I don't see it there. Well, who is it you work with? Is it Joe?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I thought Joe had sent this over to me after our last call. Let me see if I can find that. Oh, yeah, here it is. Window Place. Is that right, Window Place, or is that something different?
Yeah, right.
Okay, I was searching for Crystal. That's why I couldn't find it.
Oh, okay.
So let's pull this up, open, and this will let you see a little bit behind the scenes on how we do this. We put together sort of this outline for the websites that we create. And you can see here the slider pictures and the slider text. So let's see what some of the text is on the sliders. Factory direct windows at 30% less than anywhere else. No pricing games, just excellent windows at reasonable prices. No pressure, no fake discounts, no middleman, just real quotes. This probably is familiar to you. I'm assuming you've seen something like this from us by now.
Right.
Yeah, okay. In most cases, we install every window in your home the same day. No ladders, no lifts, no mess. Tired of one-size-fits-all, take it or leave it window companies. So, again, I'm not directly involved in working on this project, but you've been working with Joe on this. I'm assuming that these are the correct identity points for your company. True enough?
Right, but probably I have to talk to, I would talk to him a little to make a little bit changes. I didn't know that's how he, now that I understand how he, put this together, but I didn't know at the time. But so, yeah, okay.
Well, and the way that we work is real simple. We put it together for the initial identity. We'll mock it up into a home page. I don't know, did you see a website version of this?
Yes,
Okay, and the idea with that is real simple. We send it over to you, and then we discuss whatever changes or edits or, difference of emphasis that you want on there. We're not sending it to you saying, here it is, we hope you like it.
Oh, okay. I got it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a starting point, right, based on what we found from you. I mean, usually we're pretty close. It's not like we just completely miss it, but occasionally, check that, almost always there's edits and changes and things that need to be fine-tuned on it, without a question. So as we get down into the main part of the identity, here's why we sold and installed 500,000 customers for 30,000 satisfied clients. We offer factory, and it's the same kinds of things, okay? So then here's some of the text, no pressure. So again, I don't know what the final version of this looks like, but I mean, these are the points that we want to be talking about when it comes to your company, because these are the things that make your company tick. Now, you said a minute ago that there's some things that you'd want to clarify with Joe. What kinds of things would those be?
Oh, one of the things like on Slider 3 it says no letter or I mean is that's probably not an important part. No mess is probably, but no letter or no leaf.
Yes.
That's not probably a important part for the
Yeah.
for
Okay.
people to be considered, right?
Yeah.
And you
So
do need letters once a while, but
that's okay. I mean, those are easy things to edit here and there. That's not a big deal. I
right.
thought that too. I thought, well, if it's the second floor, they're probably going to have a ladder, but who cares?
Mm-hmm.
So, there's probably some editing that needs to happen there, but the concept is still valid, which is these are the major points that we want to be talking about based on the discovery that we did for your identity.
Right. Well,
So
oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm just
ahead.
thinking if I am the consumer, if I have to, buy like pick a window company and buy a window for my house, and what would I be looking at? I'll probably do the same thing, like what, and then that on the other way, that's what I try to provide, like what is the biggest concern of these people, and then I'm trying to do, my best on my end to satisfy them. I would say one of the big concern will be the reputation of the company, because they are writing you a deposit before they don't even know you, and I think that that's why I have a lot of referral business, because then they know the company already. But the thing is that we do have a manufacturer, which is a pretty good size of a building. So I think that would be a selling point, is because when customer write us a deposit check, they don't have to worry about, and then they don't have to worry about if we're going to warranty the work, if we're going to do a good job or not, because and they can see that we have it's a good size company and stuff like that. So
okay,
I think that's probably my big. I would think that would be.
Okay, well, I know that Joe is on this call right now listening, so he's taking notes on everything you're saying, and the next step is really just to get with you and fine-tune the identity points. Obviously, we want it to be the things that most clearly make you the obvious choice, and it sounds like there's just some editing that needs to happen between you and Joe. But regardless of that, what you just said, what's on here, some combination of these things, that these are not the things that are currently in your marketing and mailing pieces, right?
Oh no, I guess you're right. That's the point that I need to actually put out, right? I mean, I should speak.
Yes.
Or speak it out, or yeah.
Yeah. So what I would do is this: I would get with Joe, and again, he's on this call, so he's aware of this conversation that we're having right now, and I'm sure he'll reach out to you after this call, or you can reach out to him. But it's a matter of taking that identity and fine-tuning it so that you and him both feel comfortable with it. Then once that's complete, once that's done, there's really no mystery to the question of, well, what do we put in our mailers? We just go to your identity and we just start pulling things and putting it into the mailer, because those are the things that you need to be talking about.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so that's why we put so much emphasis and start at this thing called identity, and that's why it sounds like there's a little bit of fine-tuning that needs to happen there. But once that's done, and it'll go very quickly. I mean, fine-tuning it is a very fast process, and you'll be off to the races. You can start putting that into whatever marketing materials you want to create, whether it's brochures or advertisements, web content, whatever.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, and then maybe I will ask you at right now, like I know that one of the program you have is the pay-per-click. How would I, after we finish, finalize this new website, I think the next step I would probably do is the pay-per-click, and I can contact Joe or Judy, go from there, right? I mean, how am I supposed to?
Yeah, they know who to put you in touch with. Joe is actually not the person that handles the pay-per-click, but he'll certainly put you in touch with Dale. It's actually Dale in our office. I don't know if you've talked to him or not. And we'll help you out with that as well. It is a good next step. My recommendation for pay-per-click is to start small. Usually small is about $500 per month.
Okay.
I don't know. Some people think that's a lot. Some people think that's not a lot. You want to find a formula that works, and then you want to expand it and spend more and more money. But you want to wait and spend more money once you find a formula that works. So I would start with $500 or $1,000 per month. understand the first couple of months there's an optimization process that occurs where Google's trying to find the right bid amount, the right ads that get the most clicks, the clicks that convert to the most actions, and that's all trackable within our system. So we can see, you know, if you spend $1,000, we'll see exactly how many people clicked, and out of those people, how many of them called you, how many of them filled out a form online, and we can see exactly what happened. If we don't like what happens, then we can tweak things. So that's why I always say start with a smaller budget, and when you find a formula that works, then we expand the budget. That's how we operate all the time with our clients.
Yeah, that sounds good, you know.
Yeah, and we can make that happen for you really quick. But you know what, you're right. You hit the nail on the head. We want to wait until we've got your website completed so that when they show up on that website, there's something worth seeing.
Okay, yeah. Well, actually, I'm more comfortable right now because you know, like English is not my first language, so sometimes I you know, even though I have some thoughts, but I don't know how to put them together. So now I know I can, you know, get this really, you know, like something. I'm hoping that we can create some kind of piece of you know, advertising that really makes sense.
没有关系，你的英文讲得非常好。So you do better in English than I do in Chinese. So it's all good, okay?
Okay, all right. As long as you understand me.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's very clear, and I know that Joe's not had any problems working with you in that regard, so it's good. Okay, any other questions for me specifically? I'm glad you brought up the pay-per-click. There may be other people on the call that are wondering about that as well.
Yeah, I'm okay right now, and then, yeah, sure.
Yeah, one of the good things about the pay-per-click, I don't know if you know this, but we use a platform for pay-per-click. I don't know really how to explain this in an easy way, so I'll try to make it as easy as possible. What happens is this particular pay-per-click platform we use, it actually creates a mirror image of your website, which sounds a little bit weird, but here's what that means. Everything in your website is exactly the same as the website we create for you, but they make one minor change. And the minor change they make is they change the phone number. And instead of having your local phone number, they put a specific phone number that when people call it, a couple things. Number one, we can track that phone number was called. And number two, it records all the phone calls. So later on, we'll give you a dashboard that you can go in and you can actually see those calls. You can click on a link and you can listen to those calls and you can see what happened. So this is a good tool for you to be able to, you know, really make sure that you're maximizing those calls. Because sometimes we see things where our clients will say, well, you know, we didn't really get, you know, the calls we wanted off of this pay-per-click campaign. Then we'll go in there and we'll listen to them. And maybe the phone wasn't answered properly, or maybe the person got put on hold. You know, who knows? All kinds of things can go wrong. You know that. It's just normal business, right? Things can go wrong. And it's a good way to make sure that things aren't going wrong, and if they are, to fix them and make them right. It also creates a record of all of those people that called and their phone number and everything, so you can call them back if you want, if you happen to miss them or something. So it's a pretty neat system that we use. So any other questions for me, Ann?
Oh, yeah. Like, you know, I think I'm still struggling, like, like which advertising method or the marketing, makes sense. As far as, still a lot of the TV, company or radio company or, signs, and, people would keep calling and ask you to work with them. And I'm, my concern is like, a lot of the I would think that a lot of people would switch to online right now, right? Other than just like, spend a lot of money on TV or radio advertising, right?
That is correct. There's lots of business to be had online. Now, if you advertise offline on radio or TV, you have to really understand what to expect. And in the past, people have been able to advertise on radio and TV, and it may be expensive at first, and it gets a little cheaper over time because you build up and people see you and know you and stuff like that. But the fact is, it's pretty expensive to start out with, and it's not something that you should go into expecting immediate, measurable results for a couple reasons. Number one, the media advertising that you do like that really should be thinking more in terms of next year's business and the year after. You're cultivating these people so that when they are ready to buy, they come to you. Number two, one thing we see a lot now is it's very difficult to track immediate responses from the advertising because a lot of people just go find you online anyway. So if you're tracking phone calls and you place a TV ad and 50 or 60 or 70% of the people that responded to that ad actually went and looked you up online and then called you, it's really hard to track that.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So, it's a difficult situation, and it's harder now than it's ever been. And then to complicate that for you, you're in Chicago, and it's really expensive in the first place to be on the radio and television, right?
Right. Uh-huh.
I've got a client that's in Bloomington, Illinois, which is, it's a pretty decent-sized town, but you can buy radio and TV dirt cheap there. You're in Chicago. That's a lot harder. So, what I would ask you is, so what kind of budget do you have available? And, then we can recommend ways for you to spend that budget, whether it be in mailers or, maybe it's just strictly finding something that works on pay-per-click.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think, today I learned, something that's very important is like no matter what, people is going to look at you, online. So, making a good website is very, very important now, yeah.
That is definitely the case. 17 years ago when you started, you put the brochure in the mail and people just called. That was, they didn't even think about internet. It wasn't even an option really 17 years ago.
Yes.
And even 10 years ago when most people had internet, a lot of them looked stuff up, but a lot of them still didn't. But now, it's basically every single customer is going to look you up online. So
that is true. So true. Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's why we put all that emphasis there. So I'm glad that we can work through that with you, and I'll be excited to see your website when it launches here, hopefully pretty soon as you work through that with Joe.
Sure. I'm excited too.
Okay. Anything else? You've got my attention. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask.
I will. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks. And I'm going to go ahead and open it up. If anybody else has any questions, I'll take those as well. I don't have any specific submissions right now. So if anybody would like to raise their hand or pose a question into the questions module, then I'd be happy to take it. I'll give you just a second to do that if you would like to participate that way. So we've got a lot of people on the call today. So as our program has evolved from a training program to more of a marketing services fulfillment company, the number of people that participate in the webinars has gone down, which is good. That doesn't bother me at all. I just want to make sure that people are getting the services that they wanted, and I know they are. But it does create a lower take-up rate on participation on ad clinics and so forth. So I don't see anybody raising their hand or adding any questions. So we'll go ahead and end it there. I do thank you for participating, and we'll be in touch. Thanks. See ya. Bye now.
The organizer has